Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining today's presentation on using SAP Focus Build with Jira for Connector for delivering complex SAP and non-SAP projects. My name is Doug Kreinheder. I'm client partner here at CoreALM. Today's presentation will be delivered by Vasily. We'll get started actually here in a few minutes. We're just going to wait for a few other people to join. So appreciate your patience, and we'll be back in just a moment. Thanks. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So as mentioned, my name is Doug Kreinheder. I'm client partner here at CoreALM. With me today, I have Vasily. He'll be giving us a presentation today on using SAP Focus Build and Jira with Connector for delivering complex SAP and non-SAP projects. Just to give you a brief introduction to our agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about CoreALM. We'll do an introduction into SAP Solution Manager Focus Build, followed by an introduction to our CoreALM Scrum board, and then an intro to our Jira connector. Followed by that, we'll actually do a live demonstration in the system of the Jira connector, and then at the end, we'll go through questions and answers. So thanks everybody for joining. Let's go ahead and get started. So from a CoreALM perspective, CoreALM's been around since 2010. My colleagues and I all used to work together at SAP prior to that time. The founder of CoreALM was the product line manager for SAP Solution Manager back at that time at SAP, and decided that it was probably a good idea to start a boutique service bureau for basically helping customers adopt SAP Solution Manager. Since then, we've been getting involved with all sorts of different projects, mainly around digital transformation. We do a number of different S4 projects helping customers realize the value of SAP S4 by using by using Solution Manager to basically deliver those projects. We also do a lot of work in the area of DevOps for customers in terms of integrating their SAP systems into their corporate DevOps strategy. During that time, we've historically been a service company, but over the years we've come through and developed a number of different products. Those include our connector for Azure DevOps, Jira, ServiceNow. We also have a Scrum board and a soon-to-be released testing platform. So basically anything to do with application lifecycle management for SAP, that's where our expertise is. The best way to describe our tool set is if you look at in terms of the realm of DevOps. In the DevOps environment, typically you have the non-SAP solutions that are being governed by the typical widely available Agile tools like Azure DevOps, Jira, and ServiceNow. So from a non-SAP standpoint, this is a very common setup where you have these tools basically managing both the project aspects and the delivery aspects or operational aspects of your different applications in the landscape. When it comes to SAP, it's a little bit different animal. SAP is a very complicated environment. You have all these different systems. Each one of them is different with different tiers and upgrade paths. You can have business processes that run across all of the SAP systems, and likewise in and out of non-SAP applications as well. Unfortunately for us is that SAP has been committed to the development of SAP Solution Manager for the application lifecycle management of both projects in SAP as well as operations in SAP. And that's where that connector comes into play, is that from a CoreALM perspective, we've developed these connectors that you would normally use with these products for non-SAP and be able to use them to manage your SAP environment. So you have a comprehensive, cohesive strategy for all your DevOps strategy, whether it's SAP or non-SAP. Moving forward, if you actually look at our tool set, it's all built on top of SAP Solution Manager. All the tools are integrated to work together. The tool set itself, it exists in its own namespace. So if you have any customizations or configurations that are currently in your Solution Manager, when you add our tool set into the app into your environment, it's not going to affect those customizations or configurations. Likewise, if at some point in time you want to remove the software, no problem at all. You can remove the software without any lasting defects or lingering problems. The nice thing is everything's meant to work together. The other benefit is there's very little updates that need to be done on the actual applications, as the software itself, for the most part, resides on top of Solution Manager. If you go through and look how our tool sets are positioned, and we take a look at how Solution Manager, just a brief update on that, what Solution Manager is and how it's configured. You can see there's these 4 key value scenarios, which are these swim lanes that are going left to right, and the 10 functional capabilities that are included in Solution Manager. So why there are 4 key value scenarios, there are only 2 that really focus on, and that is the build, development, or dev, or what we refer to historically as requirements to deploy. And this is basically all the project applications. So you're building your software here, and then once the software is created and it's released into production, then we have this run, operation, or ops, which is this line here, or row. And you can see that's where Solution Manager came from. It was historically an operational tool. So you have lots of different functionalities for basically lowering your total cost of ownership and making sure your operations for SAP is as streamlined as possible. How our tool set fits in here is, first of all, we have this very popular ServiceNow connector. So we connect ServiceNow into SAP Solution Manager change and control management on the operation side. You would know this product as Charm. So we do that connection there between ServiceNow and Charm, and we have many customers globally that use this capability. We also tie it into the monitoring tools, which would be business process monitoring, technical monitoring, such that if there's any notes or alerts that are generated by Solution Manager, those can go right into ServiceNow, and they may or may not kick off a Charm ticket to resolve those issues. So very popular, our ServiceNow connector. On the build side, we have a number of different connectors that we offer. They're all related to Focus Build. So if you're not familiar with Focus Build, it's an add-on to SAP Solution Manager that provides an optimized process flow for delivering complicated SAP projects, mainly developed for S4. So we work on a lot of S4 transformation projects. So basically what it does is we have these capabilities like business process management, testing, project management, requirements management, and change control management. And Focus Build puts us in an organized workflow that allows customers to basically deliver their S4 projects on time, on budget, and with the best quality possible. For us to make this tool set even better, we have our Agile Scrum board that we've built to basically enhance the capability of Focus Build. And then we also have our connectors into Azure DevOps and Jira, because a lot of customers are already familiar with using these tools for taking the requirements and running projects in it. The bottom line is that with Solution Manager, the way it's supposed to work is everything created in the build side is instantly available for the run. So if you use Solution Manager to basically create your software, then that information can easily be transferred right away and 100% right to the run side. Going forward, also two other things. We do have connectors for Charm for both Jira and Azure DevOps as well. Okay. Let's see. So Jen, one last thing just to talk about S4 projects. We see a lot of S4 projects, and on those S4 projects, SAP recommends that we use the Activate methodology, and then they would also use Focus Build. So a lot of our time is spent with customers, getting them familiar with how to basically run their S4 projects. At some point in time, they go and hire an integrator. Those integrators vary in capabilities and their ability to deliver these S4 projects. I wish they were more successful S4 projects, but anyways, usually this relationship starts with a very positive attitude, but when you get into the actual project, it can kind of go all over the place. And so for us at CoreALM, one of the things that we offer to our customers is this advocacy service, where basically we focus on the delivery of the project. So regardless of the dynamic between the system integrator and the customer, CoreALM team is always just checking to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing, that they're using the tools correctly, that everything gets done on time, on budget, and that the best possible outcome is taken care of. So like I said, the overall benefit here with using our services, regardless of your integrator or who's you're working with, is that basically we've been able to deliver these S4 projects on time, on budget, and like I said, with the best possible S4 deliverable. Lots of different customers all over the world, so we've been in every type of industry and every type of market, and each one of these customers had something unique that they were trying to accomplish in the world of application lifecycle management for SAP, and I'm sure that we can help you out as well. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Fisnik. He's going to give you an introduction to SAP Focus Build, and we'll go from there. Thanks everybody for joining. And Fisnik, if you want to take it away, that'd be great.
Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep, looks great.
Okay. So let's talk about Focus Build. So Focus Build is it's an integrated solution between all the parts of Solman that will help us deliver a project. Meaning that you start with the process management, you have the processes, and it's integrated with a change control management where we'll do the delivery work, and also integrated with the test management, test suite of Solution Manager, and also with project management. And on top of all that, have the release dashboard where we can check how we're doing and on delivering these items. As we see it here, the building block, the process management, where we get the requirements, business gets the requirements, and they define the processes that are planned to deliver. And based on those processes, all the requirements get captured, and those related requirements we deliver with a notion of work package was similar to Epic, and then we break it down furthermore into work items. And this is all, these work packages are assigned to waves, that we can have multiple waves, and work items belong to sprints that we deliver in multiple sprints. And fully integrated with a test suite, as these the work packages are a unit of work that we have to build and test, and those are fully integrated with test suite, and we can check the progress of our testing and how we're delivering the ThriveStep work or configuration work, depending on what the requirement it was, right? And on top of the release dashboard that we get, solution readiness dashboard, we get also the release dashboard that we can check it from technically what transport we're moving to the pre-prod or prod system from QA, dev and QA. We can also, and this is automated movement of transport when we change the status of the work item, or respectively with the work package. On top of all this, we get the CoreALM Scrum board where we can check, and I will talk more on during the slides, or how we can track the daily progress of the team, how they're doing on the build side, to have this overview, also on the build, but also on the test, and also on the defect fix side, which is very important to have a successful delivery of the project. But most important on this demo, what we are trying to focus on, it's going to be the Jira integration. Now, similar to Jira integration, we have also integration to Azure DevOps, which will be very similar to what we're talking today in Jira, just another tool that will help us on the delivery side. And to explain more further in focus build. So the focus build, how the methodology behind this, how it starts everything is that we start with a PMO setting up the project plan and what are the timelines that we're gonna deliver, how many waves, sprint, and so on. And then we go and check the requirements. So the business team defines the requirements. We capture these requirements into Solution Manager. When we capture this requirement, they get associated with the different processes that we're planning to deliver. It's important to mention here that the Solution Manager and Focus Build, it's a process-driven tool. So we have process that we're trying to deliver, and this process we need to build and we need to test. And in the future, when we go live, we can monitor this process. So it's process-driven tool. That's a major difference between Jira and Azure DevOps, which are not process-driven tools. In here, we have the solution documentation, and that will really help us to document those processes and check how we are working during the breakdown of this work items and work package that we do, how we're delivering our actual process, because that's what the business cares. Or what process are we delivering, and what's the progress on delivering those processes. And we go and we break down this requirements into work packages. And when we break it down into work packages, there is a further breakdown that the build team does into the work items. So they say, okay, to need to deliver this RISE-up, I would need to have this and this and this done. And they go ahead and do it. And once they do the documentation, they do the functional specification, they do technical specification, and after the build team is finished with that, they go on a testing team takes over, and they build the test plans, which are everything is in a relationship with each other in here. So the items that it moved to now, the testing team has to do the testing, and once they do the testing, they create defect, and if they need correction, they create a defect correction for the testing team. Which they will have to correct it and move it back for testing to the testing team. And going back to Solution Manager, the process flow. So Solution Manager, it's a role-based tool. What does that mean? So we know who will do what who will do what they will do it and when they will do it. So we have a role base, so we know that the business architect or process expert will do the requirements. We have the solution architect, what they will do, in what status, and in where they will do it. So I will show you on the system how this is broken down, and also to the work item, the developer, and the unit testing that they will have to do. So it's all specified. So you don't have to do any exercise compared to other tools that you have to define the roles on the project. And some people say, no, I need more authorization, I need less. In Focus Build, you have this predefined. So there is no headaches on trying to define who will do what. And this is the workflow. So from the requirements, we create the work package, we move it to, we define the scope, we create the work items, and after we finish the work items, we move the work package to successfully test it. And here we do the testing and functional integration test and regression test it. And also it's a system based. So here I didn't go to further details, because what we'll do in pre-prod, what we'll do in QA, what we'll do in dev, and all the also transport of copies here, that every time we need something, we move it as soon as we move to be tested, transport of copies goes into QA, and we test it, and we can go back and forth as many times as we need between to be tested and to be corrected statuses, right? So in just like the Focus Build give us a predefined workflow, which is very nice, and very it's proven to be very efficient when we deliver complex projects, right? We have a lot of people, and this will define their work. Let's talk about the CoreALM Scrum board. So the Scrum board sits on top of Solution Manager, and it's seamless integration with the Solman, because it sits on top of Solman. There is no configuration needed to have the Scrum board in your system, and this will help us run the daily meetings with the building team that they're building the work items, and track how they're doing on every items. We can run it based on category, based on priority, and so on. And this will help us to have always an overview on how the project is doing, how many items are there. And on top of that, we also have custom items that we can assign to these work items. For example, if we have blocks, if we have action items, if we have risks, issues, and so on, all these items can be assigned to specific items, and we can track those as a similar to tasks in Jira. So this will expand the solution manager to be a very a single source of truth that will enable the team, the PMO, to get a detailed information where the project is on any point in time that they require. Right? And going back to the list view, because we have a list view and a backlog view, and you can look at from the requirement to all the way to the process where we're delivering. So you can see what's the progress on that particular requirement that we have. So you can see the work item, work package, everything that's assigned to that particular work item. You can track it and have that information. And this is real time. We just click on here and we can see all the details of it. There is multiple reporting. This is just one. There's a lot of reporting that comes out of the Scrum board. That this is just a progress overview, high level reporting. But there is sprint reporting, wave reporting, detailed task reporting, multiple traceability reporting, and testing reporting, and so on. When I go to Jira connector, so with all the slides details here, but if you request, we can send you the slide and you can read it. So Solution Manager and Jira integration, we have integration with Jira on site and Jira on cloud. Here it shows the two tools. So we see the process in Solman, it starts everything from the process, and in Jira you can start from feature or from epic. But the main point is that in Solman, with our connector, CoreALM connector, we can connect all types of issues, the issue types that we have in Solman. We can connect requirements, we can connect work package, we can connect work item, defect, and so on. And these issue types, or these change types that we call in SAP world, or you can link them to Jira, let it be to feature, to epic, to user story. So if you want to have requirements starting from Solution Manager, you catch the requirements in Solution Manager, you want to move them to Jira as a feature, you can do that. Or if you want to have a work package, move to to Jira as an epic, and work item to go as a user story, you can do that too. And usually what most likely most customers start with, they start documenting the requirement in Solution Manager. They go do the work packages in Solution Manager, which creates the epic in Jira, and then they break down the work items. And then when they do these work items, they go in Jira as a user stories, and these user stories will be to deliver the work for SAP and non-SAP. And the SAP work will happen in SAP system, but non-SAP work will happen in Jira, because the team will have their user story assigned to their project in Jira, and they can continue their work. And all the updates will go back to Solution Manager. So they cannot do SAP work in Jira, but the SAP team does the SAP work in Jira with the transport and everything, and the Jira team does the work in Jira related to the user stories that have been assigned to them for non-SAP work, right? And here's one case scenario. It looks complex, but it's pretty simple. So it's you start in Solution Manager, you create the requirement, they go in Jira as a feature, and any updates you get back to Solution Manager. And you start with a work package that goes as an epic in Jira. You start with a work item, that'll be normal change or general change. They go into Jira, and you can get the status back for any of these depending how how we design this one with the organization. So none of the deployment that we did for multiple clients that we have is that none of them is the same. So all the customers have different status mapping, they have different field mapping, they have different starting point. That some customers start from Jira and some customers start from Solution Manager. But the work for SAP works always happens in Solution Manager. So the dev team does the work in Solution Manager, but the reporting side can happen either in Solution Manager or in Jira. Right. So you can have a single source of truth in the both system. Right. So you can start the work item in Solution Manager, you create it. It goes the status back into Jira. You can keep doing the work in here. We'll get updates in Jira, but for GC, you will do it in SAP. You creation, and then you go sends it in Jira, and you will have you make the status changes that go back to SAP, and you can create additional items from Jira for non-SAP work there, and they will go back to Focus Build with updation. Okay. And the other case scenario is from Jira to Solution Manager. So you go in Jira, you create the feature, you create the epic, and you create the user stories, and they will go to Solution Manager all the way through from requirements to work package to work item, all the linkage. And as soon as you go to you start the work, then the update can happen back into Jira. What work you're doing into Solution Manager, and both this team for non-SAP and SAP team can continue parallel work, and all the synchronization between them will happen. So this is the process that you have to work to define how you want this happen, in what status you want to update, and all these details. It's all changeable and customizable based on the process that we lay down, based on the organization, how they want to continue the work, and what part of the process they want to do it in what tool, right? Okay. And going back to the defect, so we have also defect integration with Jira. During the testing side, we go and do the testing in Solution Manager. We have Solution Manager Test Suite, Focus Build Test Suite, and that enables us to do the integrated testing, as I was mentioning earlier. And when we create a defect, those defects flow back to if we want to have the trackability also in Jira for non-SAP team to look at what defect SAP team has, they go back into Jira, and all statuses automatically update in Jira. We can have full reporting in Jira side for our defects. So defect we can map them to Jira bugs, or depending what type of issue types we're using in Jira to track the defects. But there is integration also for defect management with Jira. Okay. On top of that, we have also extended Solution Manager to have the defect board. So the defect board gives us a detailed overview for defect triaging meetings. So we can track these meetings. We can track the defects, and we can track the defect based on priority, based on the category, based on the team that we have, and we can run these meetings and say, okay, where are we with all the defects that we have? And it has both a board view and a list view, and has a relationship to also to the test cases and to the processes where the defect came on, and so all the details for the testing. It's linked together in the defect board. Also, defect have a directly linkage to the defect protection, which is another board that helps us to run the meetings and check where we are with those fixes. On top of that, there is also the testing board. Testing board is very advanced, and it's very usable in the project to keep us on track. Where are we with the test coverage? And we can daily check the progress of the test cases, how are we doing on these test cases, and how many. So we select the test plan and so on, and we get all the details about the testing. And with this, we can look at on each step on the testing, where are we with the testing, and we can and then from here we can analyze the data and have any dashboard and anything that we want. Let me go to do a quick demo of this. Quick demo. So this is Solution Manager on here on my screen. So this is Solution Manager's role base. As we can see, I have all possible roles assigned to me here. But if you are an architect, you will see only the architect task here. If you are a change manager, you will see only change manager. Or if you're a tester, let me show you what the tester sees. You see it's only the test execution and the defects. The test manager sees all the testing activity tasks, right? And if I go back to the architect, you can go to solution documentation. You can look at, this is the solution documentation where we break down all the processes. For example, this are scenarios, processes, and process steps. And based on here, we pick the requirement, and on the requirement itself, and we assign the documentation for each steps and the testing and so on. We assign the diagrams and all the details. And we can create the requirement directly in here, but I'm going to go and show you on the CoreALM side here. So yeah, so this is the one other way of doing it. So this is the requirement backlog. I can select one of the requirement, and I can create a work package directly from here. You can also do it directly from Solman, but I'm going to use this view. I can assign it to myself. I'm just creating a work package right now. I pick the requirement, existing requirement, but we can create any new one. Pick the priority. I'm going to pick the project, like a smooth transformation project, wave. I'm going to say, obviously it's a gap. We don't have to fill any other information. Great. For this demo, yeah, well, the name says PPO interface, but we could have changed that name. But yeah, this will create a work package. And when it creates a work package, it creates also, yeah, so this one is the second one. I created one before the demo. So this is the work package that I just created. I can open this work package if we want to. Let me see it in the SAP. And I can open also the Jira. So we can see both of them parallel. Let me close this windows. Okay. So this is the Jira work package that just got created. This is the SAP. Let me try to open again the SAP work package. Okay, so this is the SAP work package, and we have the Jira epic that got created, and it's on status created, right? And now I can go in SAP, I can go into scoping. I will go ahead and click define scope. All right, I'm going to define the scope. Go create a normal change first. Say create, not create, I'm going to say build interface, something like build interface for PO. That was the name of the requirement. Okay. I'm going to put it in the comment. I'm going to say this is SAP side, right? I'm going to put it on the first sprint. It's an interface priority. I can assign to myself. Assign to myself here. Okay. Save it. Okay, this is a normal change. I'm going to go ahead. I should create also a GC so we can see also the non-SAP side. Right? This non-SAP side. Okay, of the interface, and it's calling like that. And then I will go ahead and create, say it's interface. Okay, well, let me assign this one to me too. Well, we can do it without assigning to anyone, but okay, well, let's start it. Let me assign it. And this is assigned to me right now. If I go and click on action, approve the scope, I will approve the scope of this work package, and go hand over to development, which means that these are not created yet. They are still on, we can change and analyze. But when I go and say hand over to deployment, this will actually does, it goes and creates these items. As you see before, they didn't have any ID on it, just grayed out. Now this will does, it go ahead and creates this work item in SAP, and will have a blue link. Now I can open each one of these, and they have sprint assignment and so on. If I go now to Jira, I will refresh this one. Okay, and we should have, oh, one got created. Let's see, the other one should come soon here. There should be another one that we just created. Yeah, here we have two work items that we just created in SAP side, and they came to Jira as a user story, right? And now I can go back in SAP, and so the process, I can say, okay, now as a developer, this was assigned to me. I have my tile called my work items. There's a tile here in the main view as a developer role. I click on my work items, my tile, that's my work that I have to do. And this is status created. I go ahead, I sort my development, and I can go ahead and create the transport and capture the information on it. And as soon as I click in development, it will switch the status in development here as soon as I set it in development. And here we have also the linkage back to external ID that says this is the linkage back to Jira, which was this work item. And now the work item here in Jira, it should be in status in development based on the status that we moved in Jira. And that switched it, this one in progress, also the work back Epic in progress. Why did you do that? So if I go here in relationship, we see in Jira and automatically in Focus Build, as soon as the user story is in progress, also the work package is in progress. It will tell us, okay, we started working in this particular item. Right, and now I can also go in here. So let me show you the non-SAP side. I can go from Jira. I can open this item, and I can move it from status in create into progress. And this will go ahead and will update SAP. And if I refresh here, it may take a few minutes until it comes, but it will change also this one on the package. It should update the package. Okay. See, it updated as soon as we changed from non-SAP, it's set in development. Now we could go back in Jira, and if I go back to the Epic, and we have the possibility as we do more work, we can go ahead in Epic and we can say, I want a new story, and you can go ahead and say this is from Jira, and you can create new user stories from Jira to SAP. You have to go ahead, and there might be some fields that we have to fill. Okay, do you want to send it to SAP? Yes. Classification. Okay, it's gotta be an interface. What sprint is it? Sprint 1. What work item type is it? GC. I think GC we have it mapped. And this should create it into Jira. This particular user story now. And you should create it in Solman from Jira side. And to go back to the details, more details. Oh yeah, here it created from Jira. It's assigned to sprint 1, and we said it's an interface. So its interface status is in created, because also in Jira it's on status created. So you see the status synchronization and field synchronization and so on. And I want to show you that, of course, we can set up everything based on how we design the process. So as I was mentioned earlier, we can say for general change that don't have transport, okay, go ahead and create it from Jira or SAP, but for normal change, create it only from SAP to Jira. And we can design this process based on your needs, and we can specify the statuses, how we wanna handle, but also for the field wise. So fields, we can say, okay, go from Jira to SAP, from SAP to Jira, and so on. And we can also say, okay, do this only on a change. We can do subfield mapping. We can do direct field mapping. We have multiple ways that we can make this one work. Depends of the need of your defined process and how your organization is designed. It wants to design a delivery for S4 major project delivery, right? And with that said, let me just show you one more time the Scrum board, as I didn't show you the Scrum board. Let me show you the Scrum board. So the Scrum board will provide us show you all the details on the build side, and this also will show us the Jira items when we have Jira. So if I open one of these, okay, will give us try to open one of them, will give us the information on what status the items are, and if they have the Jira integration, we'll show the Jira icon. But let me try to open one, and this will give us the information on will give us the information on what do we have. All right, what do we have in the item in Jira, the status, priority, and so on. And this is also on the list. We can look at the list view, and we can do multiple filters based on the team and so on. We also can change the build start and end date directly from here. Give us all the high visibility from a Scrum Master to run successful daily Scrum. There's also a testing defect board and the testing board that I was mentioning that we can take advantage of when we deliver the project, right? But there's the directly synchronization between Jira and Focus Build or ADO for that matter. If you use this integration tool, well, the process would be the same from our side. And here you have all the IDs that you can click and go back to Jira anytime you need to from the delivery point, right? And with that said, that's the main topic was to show you the Jira integration and also show you these tools that will help us to deliver successfully a project. If someone has any question, I think this is the right time to answer.
Hey, Nick, great job. So I think we have a question or two here. So let me just go to them. First question, how can you map the entities from Focus Build to Jira?
Yeah, so mapping, I showed you the mapping here. We have a full detailed mapping that you can organize your flow that I was showing on the slides, how the Focus Build flow is, and you can have different customizing flow in your Jira too. For example, this flow, I'm going to show you the Jira flow here. This is a Jira workflow that we map to Focus Build, but you can have your own statuses, your own complex flow that goes from one status to another, and that can be mapped to Focus Build. We have also features that do status skipping and all bells and whistles that will help you deliver the project.
Very good. And then I have another question here. What about traceability? I heard that Solution Manager 7.2 and Focus Build provide complete capabilities between requirements and testing. Is that correct?
Yes. So from traceability sides, Focus Build it's very dedicated on providing you detailed traceability from the process that you start the requirement until you deliver the requirements. All you can look at from what happened on that requirement, who created, what created, until what documentation were assigned, what testing was done, all the details that happened on that requirement till got delivered, what transport, everything that happened, wave, release, all the details.
Very good. I think that answers those questions. Those are the only questions we have. So I appreciate you taking the time, Nick, to walk us through everything related to CoreALM's, connector for Jira and our different products to support SAP Solution Manager and Focus Build. I'd like to thank everybody for joining today's presentation. I hope you all have a wonderful day and the rest of your week.
Thank you.